Newly leaked audio of Joe Biden isn't going to sit well with the far left. Biden pointing out the obvious to civil rights leaders and blaming the defund the police movement for major Democratic losses.
They've already labeled us as being defund the police. Anything we put forward in terms of the organizational structure to change policing, which I promise you will occur, promise you. Just think to yourself and give me advice whether we should do that before January 5th, because that's how they beat the living hell out of us across the country, saying that we're talking about defunding the police. We're not. We're talking about holding them accountable.
Holding them accountable by defunding them. We understand this. Emily, I get that what Joe is saying is that the Republicans won by simply amplifying the Democrats' message. The Republicans didn't change any of the message. They just said, hey, look, these leaders want to defund the police. That's all they did.
Totally. When he keeps saying they, and he means the GOP, he should be referring to the far left of his party. That's where it came from. To your point, all they were doing was amplifying it back. And also, frankly, this doesn't surprise me, right? This is sort of his continued talking point. It's the same one that Obama said the other week, right? When he said you're losing big audiences the same time you do this. It's the same Rep. Clyburn said when he said, I'm not into sloganeering and all you're doing is exchanging headway for headlines. Everybody in the party sees that they are exchanging strategy for holding on to this ideals. But look, Joe Biden continuing to push that narrative that what they actually mean is just holding them accountable. It's not going to work in 2022, nor is it going to work in January.
Dana, the other point to this that wasn't mentioned in that leaked audio is that they were pushing this idea while denying what we were seeing with our own eyes on the streets of Democrat cities with the chaos, the looting, the arson.
Yeah, and I don't know if you saw, but in Minneapolis, they went ahead and they are actually defunding the police. So they'll have to have that social experiment there. They've already had, I think, 170 officers who are either retired or resigned. And look, I wouldn't want to be in that city right now. And I feel for the people that are, because they're going to go through a tough time until it's going to become obvious that they've made the wrong move here. The other thing I was thinking is that we're going to be back to the days of leaked audio, where, as with President Trump, you just had audio. He just did it with people on the phone.
Yeah,
there's no leaking.
That is so true. He'll say it right in front of you, Geraldo. So, Geraldo, you hit on this earlier. The problem with being a liberal progressive is that you can't own your liberal progressivism.
See, I think it's a bit more nefarious, Greg, because to me it sounded as if Joe Biden was saying, let's cool our jets until January 5th, and then we'll do the defund the police. We'll let's talk the moderate talk. No, we're not really defunding. We just want to, modernize and make more moderate the police. But it wasn't that. It sounded to me like he said, just hang in there. January 5th, we get Georgia behind us, then we'll let them have it. It sounded kind of ugly and political to me.
That's a good point. Jesse, I fashioned a question just for you. I think that this points out the bizarre contrast between the down-ballot fiasco of the Democrats and Joe still somehow winning, as if they overwhelmingly rejected the Democrats except for him, which makes no sense.
Yeah, it's one of those head scratchers, and I'm losing my hair because I keep scratching my head over this election. But I see this in a different way than everybody here. I see Joe as being a typical politician. Who cares what defund the police did to Democrats? Look what it did to the streets. Look what it did to the police. Look what it did to the neighborhoods. It destroyed those neighborhoods. It's like Barack Obama waits until his book tour comes out to start condemning defund the police. Where was he the whole summer when the cities were on fire? Joe Biden was bailing out defund the police rioters, and now he's worried about the politics of it. And let me hear this out. Have you heard one thing about police reform from Biden? First 100 days, are they going to do police reform? The first time I even heard him say they're going to do police reform is in leaked audio. So this just looks like, to me, they play this big police race thing every 4 years, and then they do nothing about it, and then they stoke the fire again before the next election, and then they drop it. It's the same cycle every time.
I'm torn because this is such a great point, but Jesse made the great point. So I don't know how to handle that. All right,
just reject it.